Mama. Do you ever feel like work is eating into your personal life way too much? Do you ever feel like that long to-do list that you have at work is not using your skills in the right way, and you're frustrated because you have a lot of little stuff to do, stuff that really isn't adding value or moving you forward in the direction that you want to go? You ever feel like people are not respecting your time or energy? If you feel like that, it's probably real and it's impacting you, right? It's probably holding your career back. It's robbing you of joy. It's stopping you from being present. And it could be a result of not having great boundaries. So I want to talk to you about boundaries and how important they are. This is something I struggled with for a while, but then I figured it out. And I want to give you the mindset shift that I had to go through, as well as the tactical things that I did so I could have better boundaries. And when I had better boundaries, I was really able to deliver on the most important work that I had in a way that brought me joy, right? I wasn't so stressed, and I got more time back on my calendar for things like self-care or, taking on projects that would actually move my career forward. So here's the first thing. It's a mindset shift. The mindset shift that I went through when it came to boundaries was realizing that boundaries are not about other people and what they do or what they don't do. Boundaries are about me and what I'm willing to accept. If I am willing to accept someone always coming into my office and chatting in my ear, they're going to keep doing it. If I'm willing to accept projects that don't actually add value to my career, that don't use my skills in a way that I want them to be showcased, then I'm going to keep having to work on these types of things. And so I really had to make this shift that boundaries are not about other people. They're about me, what I will accept and what I'm okay with. And getting super clear on that allowed me to really focus on changing my behaviors so that other people understood who I am and what I'm willing to accept and what I'm not willing to accept. And I want to be honest that it's scary. It's a hard truth to walk through, because ultimately then you are also responsible for the negative outcomes when you adhere to your own boundaries. And there will be negative outcomes. The good news is that if you are clear and focused on what it is that you want out of life, if you're clear and focused on your goal at hand, whether it's a work goal, it's a personal goal, you can measure those negative consequences. Yes, I had a coworker who was always coming to my office and chatting with me. It would distract me. And until I realized I wasn't willing to accept that, she kept doing it. Then I realized I wasn't willing to accept that, had the conversation with her, and we'll talk about how to do that in a second, had that conversation with her, and she stopped. But here's the thing. I was afraid to have that conversation because I was worried, what is she going to think? Is she not going to like me? Are we not going to, is this going to hurt my career because she's someone influential in the office? Do I really want to have this boundary? Is this boundary really important to me? And at the end of the day, the answer was yes. It was important to me because I need to focus when I'm at work, especially if I'm working on a presentation or I'm on an actual call. Yeah, she would come and talk to me while I was on a call. I need to be able to focus. And when I focus on the task at hand, I do better. She was stopping me from doing that. So there was a negative consequences. Yeah, she was upset because she didn't have the chat buddy that she wanted. At the same time, we were still friends. We could still talk, right? But at more appropriate times, like around the lunch break, or when I'm at the water cooler, or if we happen to catch each other in the bathroom, right? More appropriate places. And that made a big difference in my ability to get my work done during the day, right? I set that boundary and I had to adhere to it. But there was a negative consequence there. The same thing with turning down work. The first time I said no to a project that I knew had visibility but wasn't using my skills in the right way, it was scary because I said, what if they don't come back to me and ask me to help again? But I set that boundary in a way that they did come back. So I want to talk to you about how to set these boundaries once you move through the fear. And it's about being assertive. It's when you talk to someone, having eye contact, stating the thing and stating it without going up at the end and making it like a question, and using an I statement. Boundaries are about you. So you have to talk about them like this, right? So when the woman who was always coming to my office, it wasn't like, hey, you need to stop doing this. I said to her, I need to focus on the task at hand. And if I'm sitting in my chair, it means that I am doing something that requires my full attention. And so when you come over, if I'm sitting in my chair, I will not be able to respond to you. Same with projects, right? Projects were coming at me left and right. And some of them had high visibility, which is usually the type of project you want to work on. But I also knew that if I picked up that project, there's another project down the road, right, that will better use my skills and showcase me. And I should focus on that, right? Because that's the thing that I actually want. And so I would do the same thing and say, I can't take that project on right now because I am focused on doing these projects. I can't take that on right now because we have this upcoming deadline and I really need to make sure that I deliver and knock it out of the park on this. Come back to me later, right? Having that conversation and framing it in a way that is about you will make all the difference in setting that boundary and help people to understand what it is that you will and won't accept. Because ultimately, that's what boundaries are. Boundaries are about what you will and won't accept. It is not about other people's behavior. So I hope you find this helpful in setting boundaries, because when you can start to set boundaries, it really does free you up mentally and physically to deliver on the things that are most important to you. And, it also gets some time back in your day so you can take a nap or take a walk or read a book, do good things that revive you. So that's what I got for you today. If you like this type of tip and you want more, please check out my podcast, The Savvy Working Mom. And good luck on setting your boundaries. Wishing you grace, peace, and joy. Hey mama, if you like what you just heard, I'm now offering VIP days where we can work together to help you thrive in and out of the office. Come check it out on my website, The Savvy Working Mom.